Sussex skipper Ed Joyce, I guess a frustrating 4 days in many ways, Ed.
Very obviously, it was great for the boys to Luke Wright and Ben Brown got those big hundreds. You know, it means five of us, you know, including Matt Pryor, have got five of us have got hundreds, and that's a good place for the batting lineup to be. And very frustrating with the weather, very unusual to get that kind of weather down in Hove over the second and third day, and obviously frustrated to push, you know, to get a result in the game. You know, you get 500 in the first innings, you feel like you've got a chance. So it was a bit deflating not to get onto the pitch, but that's life. I thought the umpires did exactly the right thing at every stage. You know, there was no beef with anything that happened there. I thought we bowled okay, you know, but as I said, when you feel like you can't win the game, it's very difficult. You know, we did talk about a little bit this morning about trying to set up a game, but both teams couldn't really agree on anything, so we are where we are. I
just wonder, Ed, as well, being this early in the season, it's perhaps a bit difficult to get to a finish where trying to contrive some sort of a game.
Yeah, I think it depends on what you feel is important in winning the championship. I mean, all the teams in this division are trying to win it, so you feel like, you know, you've got to win games. So, yeah, I suppose it depends on your past experiences, whether you've been burnt a bit. You know, I know they got burnt last year a little bit, setting Yorkshire 330, I think it was, at their place, and they lost. So maybe they felt that they didn't want to set something up, but and that's their right to do. That's a fair play. We would have liked to have set a game up, but that's like it.
Let's look back to that first day, that innings, I believe, of Ben Brown and Luke Wright and that partnership, because not only was it a terrific innings for both of them, but also at a time when Sussex were in a good deal of trouble.
Yeah, that's what makes it even better that those boys got runs. I know they both talked before the game about sort of sweating on a score, and when you're in that place, it's not a great place to be. You know, Wright, he missed the first couple of games, and I think he's just trying to get back into the sort of, you know, the team, and just before the 2020, which is a big competition for him, obviously. And Brown, he's kept brilliantly and looked good with the bat. He's just got out. He just got out. So, he was sweating on the score as well. So the fact that we were 120 for 5, and then the two of them to play with such freedom and confidence, sort of after they got in, was absolutely fantastic. And as I just said, you know, 5 of the top 7 now have got hundreds, and that's a good place for a batting lineup to be.
The wickets seem to get flatter and flatter, Ed. Is that a concern in terms of future matches down here at Hove?
We were supposed to play on a different wicket. It was a relayed wicket, and we want to play as many 4-day games on those relayed wickets as we can, because they have good pace, carry and bounce. You know, they can have variable bounce later on in the game, which is the way 4-day cricket should be, but the wicket we were supposed to play on looked a little bit cracked, and it was a bit crazy paving, and we felt like it might be a bit dangerous and wouldn't be a fair contest, so we moved it onto one of the older wickets, and I think it was the right move. It was the only move we could make, yeah, they unfortunately are quite slow. Unless you've got a genius like Mushy or something like that, it's quite hard to bowl teams out twice.
Mr. Skipper, is that quite disappointing?
It is, yeah. I mean, it's just frustrating. I mean, we know what we're getting down here. We created chances. I mean, I obviously dropped Sangakkara on a lowish score, and he edged the sort of next ball through the slips as well. So, you know, and we felt like we bowled well enough to have them 5 or 6 down last night, even more, and we only had them, what was it, 2 down, 2 or 3 down. So, you know, that's perhaps where we couldn't push for a win.
How frustrating not to have Chris Jordan for this match?
Very. I mean, it's obviously turned out for the second team today, so it is very frustrating. But you know, we have to do what we're told. So I mean, he's a huge part of our team. You know, he's the only one of our attack who sort of bowls 90 mile an hour, and he's been fantastic for us. Fields first slip and bats as well. So he's a big part of our unit. And you know, any team would miss a quality player like him. But you know, he's part of the England setup. Looks in all formats now. So that's his future.
5 championship matches gone. Where do you assess where Sussex are at the moment?
I think we've played really good cricket most of the time. I think we had a couple of 3 or 4 bad sessions against Somerset, which is a lot of sessions obviously in a 4-day game, but I think we've played good cricket all round. You know, we were in possibly a winning position at Lancashire to win that. You know, obviously the rain, and played really good cricket on a docile wicket up there, and then I think we've played generally pretty good cricket here as well after losing a pretty important toss to get 500. It was a good effort, so we obviously won the 2 games pretty well, but there are lots of other results happening in the division. So you know, I think Notts have just won, and Middlesex are just about to win, and obviously Yorkshire won against Warwickshire. So that, you know, if teams are winning, you've got to win as well. So you know, we're up among the leaders at the moment, but long way to go.
Season moves on. T20 cricket now. How much are you looking forward to that?
Very much so. I think it's a good little sort of it's a good time to have it actually. We played 5 championship games. There's a few weary legs, especially in some of our seamers. So, some of them might get a break now. We've got a few specialists coming in like Yasser Arafat, and Chris Little will come into the frame as well, and Rory will come back, and people like that. So it'd be a bit of it'd be good to get hopefully get a few full houses here, change formats, and get a bit of excitement and energy around the place. Not that that's not here for 4-day cricket, but it's just a different buzz, and everyone enjoys the 2020 format, so really looking forward to it.
And how excited to have Yasser Arafat back as well, because I spoke to him yesterday, he seems raring to go.
Yeah, he is. He's a great lad, yes, we know him really well, and he's a Sussex man, we feel, and he's very comfortable here, and he'll fulfil a role that we haven't had for a couple of years, bowling it to death, and that's a comforting thought. Because we have, as I said, we haven't had that, and we feel like we've got the makings of a pretty good team. Actually, we've got a lot of batting. Steph Pilot obviously is a good 2020 player as well, so he'll come into the reckoning. So we feel like we've got a few more bases covered than we perhaps did in the past. And
final question: Surrey, the first team up on Friday. Is there always a little bit between Sussex and Surrey? Does that make it even more exciting for the first game?
Yeah, I think it probably does. Surrey are local rivals along with Hampshire, and it's their. I think everyone likes to beat Surrey. They're perceived as a big club. They always make big signings, and it'd be good to get on the board against them. Fundamentally, it's just nice to get a win early on, because 2020 is all about momentum. They'll have a very good team. Azhar Mahmood comes in, Graham Smith obviously involved, and they've made Sam, one of my teammates, Kevin O'Brien as well. He's a quality 2020 player, so it should be a good contest for us.
And I was going to ask you about him. What does he bring to that Surrey side?
Kev's he's a great hitter of the ball. He's a good finisher. He's someone who loves the 2020 format and embraces it, and I think that's really important when you play in that format. He can hit his first ball for 6, so he's a very, very dangerous player, and I've seen obviously a lot more of him on my own team than some of the other boys. So hopefully we have to come up with some plans. But he's a difficult bloke to bowl to, and he's got some canny little cutters as well. So we've got to watch out for them. But he'll be a good sign.
Ed, thanks for joining me.